Hey friends, Pastor Bill Walden here with Build Up the Church. This is a devotional word for December 21st, 2024, and we are taking a look at a passage in Revelation 14. It's very true that the book of the Revelation is about the revealing of the judgment of God in the last days, in the last chapters of the history of humanity. And a lot of people struggle with the idea of God judging people. But if we slow down for a moment and look at our own lives and how we think, we also have a sense of justice. And this is a repeated theme that I feel like I need to bring up with a lot of people, that, you know, if somebody hurts one of your loved ones, you would expect the police to come. You would expect that person to be arrested. You would expect that person to be convicted, and that justice would be meted out to them. We expect that kind of thing. In fact, we are upset if a judge seems to let people off. If a president gives pardons to obviously guilty people, there's a public outcry, at least from 50% of the nation's population, because we feel like that justice has been betrayed and it has been neglected. If we as human beings have that sense as well, and if there is a God, and of course I believe there is, if there is a God, should not he have that same sense of justice? And I would like to submit to you that we get our sense of justice from God himself. So in Revelation chapter 14, there's another scenario of justice coming from God, but there's also a wonderful scenario of mercy that precedes judgment. And so let's not think of the book of the Revelation simply as a book of judgment, but it's also a book of mercy. As different waves of judgment come, there are also different waves and episodes of mercy that God offers to people before he brings a further degree of judgment. When my kids were little, especially our boys, if they'd get in trouble, we'd give them a swat with Mr. Spoon. As one person said it, we would apply the board of education to the seat of understanding. It was discipline for their good. We must have done it right, because they are fine men, plus God's grace. Another story. But sometimes Dad, me as the disciplinarian primarily, would tell them, hey, it's time for a SWAT, and they would take their position. But then I would give them a mercy SWAT. I didn't give them a full SWAT. I gave them a mercy SWAT. It's like, hey, I want you to understand that this is not okay. What you've been doing is not okay. And there's always terrible consequences when any of us do the wrong thing. So they would get a mercy SWAT with the hope that they would appreciate the mercy of God, and the mercy of Dad, and also that they would understand, hey, I need to rethink things. We see that same principle. Forgive me for the lowbrow illustration of myself and my sons, but we see that same thing happening here in Revelation chapter 14. So let me read to you. Having that preview, I think this will be clear to you. Reading once again from the New Living Translation. And I saw another angel flying through the sky, carrying the eternal good news to proclaim to the people who belong to this world, to every nation, tribe, language, and people. The good news is that you can be forgiven. And the angel said, fear God. Give glory to him, for the time has come when he will sit as judge. Worship him who made the heavens, the earth, the sea, and all the springs. In other words, now's the time to change your mind about God, because judgment's coming. Verse 8, then another angel followed him through the sky, shouting, Babylon is fallen, that great city fallen, because she made the nations of the world drink the wine of her passionate immorality. Now, Babylon is kind of a code word for a future economic system and a future religious system, and I believe they will commingle together for a time. And they have the mentality of everything that is wicked in the world and influencing people towards everything that is wicked in the world. But the angel here is saying, listen, now's the time to turn to God. And oh, by the way, that system you've been trusting in has been judged. That way of living that you've been embracing and been so passionate about, God's bringing judgment upon it. It's no longer going to help you. It never did help you, but it certainly no longer is going to help you because it's going to be judged. And then we read in verse 9, the third angel followed them, shouting, anyone who worships the beast and his statue and who accepts the mark on the forehead or on the hand must drink the wine of God's anger. It has been poured full strength into God's cup of wrath, and they will be tormented with fire and burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment will rise forever and ever. This is speaking of hell, eternal place. And they will have no relief, day or night, for they have worshipped the beast and his statue and have accepted the mark of his name. During the Great Tribulation period, one will rise up called the Antichrist, and he's going to insist that he is God, he himself. And he will march into the rebuilt temple in Jerusalem. It's not rebuilt yet, but it will be. So keep your eyes out for that. And he'll proclaim to be God, and anybody who doesn't worship him will be killed. But if you worship him, you also have to take a mark either on your forehead or on your hand, the number of the beast, the mark of the beast, so you can buy and sell. You can't live without making total allegiance to this demon, actually satanically possessed man. But before all that happens, God is saying this. He's saying, I'm going to send out my angel flying through the sky to every nation, tribe, language, and people, and the angel is going to say, fear God, give him glory. Before all this judgment comes, God is once again saying, listen, I love you. I must judge because I am the judge of the universe, but I'm also the loving Father of the universe, and I love you. And now's the time to turn to him. So this is describing some things in the future, but the principle holds fast in today, this day, because we don't know how many days we have left on this earth. And the Bible says it is appointed for man or women to die once, no reincarnation, no second chances. We die, and then there's judgment. And so I want to plead with you and reason with you. Don't resist God because he judges. Listen, friend, you judge. I judge. We have a sense of justice. Justice is not a bad thing. If there was no justice in the world, we would live in absolute anarchy and chaos. People would be running the streets with weapons and stealing and killing and all those things. We need, police force and all those things. I'm not saying police force is perfect, anything. Let's not go down that rabbit trail. But I'm saying without justice, there's anarchy. And we don't want anarchy. So we respect justice until it doesn't suit us. But justice also always has to come from a higher authority, and the justice of God is above our justice. And he will always do the right thing. So today, if you hear the sound of his voice, don't say no, but say yes to Jesus. Because even though there's judgment, there's always mercy before judgment. So thanks for watching. Think it through. God bless you.